Hi y'all, and welcome to the first video in my Venus series. This is facts about Venus that even the normies believe. So here we go. We're going to talk about Venus today and facts about her. Venus is one of 4 terrestrial planets. That means that Venus has a rocky surface like Earth. Earth is also one of the 4 terrestrial planets. One of 4 in our solar system. I don't know about outside of our solar system, but in our solar system, there's only 4 terrestrial planets. Venus is one, Earth is another, which brings me to Venus is Earth's sister planet. So yeah, because they are both the same. They're similar in size, shape, and location. Venus is actually the closest planet to Earth. So that's pretty cool. And sometimes Venus gets really close to Earth. And Venus is one of the brightest in the night sky, other than the moon. From the point of view of Earth, Venus is always hanging around the sun. Venus doesn't go far from the sun. Venus is always right there by the sun. Venus and the sun are buddies from the point of view of the Earth. So Venus isn't a star that will stray too far from our main star. Venus is actually the first planet that was observed where we tracked the movements of the planet in the night sky. I think that ancient people looked up and they saw that big bright beauty and they're like, we've got to trace and track this. And Venus was the first star that one of the first planets, or is the first planet that Earthlings sent a spacecraft to. Yeah. One thing that I think is very interesting about Venus is most planets, they go around the sun. It's not a perfect circle. They actually have an elliptical circle. So most planets are elliptical orbits. Well, Venus has the closest to a perfect circular orbit that you can get. Venus actually has an eccentricity, the orbit of Venus actually has an eccentricity less than 0.01. So Venus is like, wow, right there, like almost a perfect circle. Venus is showing us perfection. So I love that about Venus. I love a lot of things about Venus. Venus will orbit the sun every 224.7 Earth days. And the symbiotic day of Venus is 117 Earth days. It actually takes longer for Venus to rotate around her axis than most planets in the solar system. And Venus is going the other way. Yeah, all the rest of the planets in our solar system are like, we're gonna go right. And Venus is like, not me, I'm going left. Her and her homeboy Uranus, Venus actually rotates backwards, if you want to say that, because everybody else will be going the other way, just you and Venus, Uranus. Yeah. So Venus does rotate backwards, and that means that if you are on Venus, the sun will actually rise in the west and set in the east. Here on Earth, sun rises on the east and sets in the west. But on Venus, it's the other way around, which is very interesting, I think. So, according to the normies, Venus has an opaque layer of highly reflective clouds around her, and she is highly, highly toxic. But there could be life on Venus. There are some speculations, according to modern-day scientists, where they believe that Venus could have the primordial soup and everything that's needed to actually absorb the beginnings of life. Of course, I don't know. All them penguin suit scientists, do they really know what they're saying and talking about? Yeah and no is the answer, usually. But anyway, Venus has no moons, although when she is observed through the telescope, she has her own phases like the moon. So Venus has phases just like the moon has phases. So because of the slight inclined orbit to Earth, Venus doesn't look like she ever crosses the face of the sun. And it's because of, because we live in 3D space and you have the sun, Mercury, Venus, and then Earth. And so Venus is, but because of the incline, Venus never does actually cross the sun, but she does have what we call a conjunction. But viewed from a telescope, you'll just see Venus going through a part of the sun. So that's very interesting. So every 584 days, Venus will overtake the Earth and change from morning star to evening star. Venus is a star in our sky that it's like she's always changing positions. She'll go from morning star to evening star. And as she's the evening star, there will be 7 conjunctions with the moon. And then she turns around and goes backwards and conjuncts the sun, where we can see it through a telescope, and she don't really conjunct the sun. And we can't really see it with our naked eye at all. The sun blocks out Venus once she turns backwards and goes towards the sun. But then she'll come up as the evening star. And then the moon will cross for 7 to 9 phases, and then Venus will turn around again and cross the sun again and come up as the morning star. You can either see Venus as the sun rises or as the sun sets. And she's always the beautiful, most brightest star in the sky. Historical figures have even made Venus very important. One of my favorite painters, Van Gogh, in his painting, The Starry Night, Venus is actually portrayed in this painting. He put Venus in there. I guess she was in her evening star phase for this painting. So, one of my favorite things about Venus is when you plot Venus and where she goes and tracking her location in the sky, it creates what they call the Venus flower. And to me, it's magical. It's sacred geometry. And the fact that Venus makes this symbol as she goes around the zodiac, and plotted in the sky, I think that that is telling us something. That's saying, look here, kind of thing. And the fact that her orbit is pretty much perfect is pretty amazing to me. But the transits of Venus can get kind of confusing, trying to figure out morning star, evening star, sun conjunct, because when Venus goes from evening star to morning star, we call that an inferior conjunction. And when Venus goes from morning star to evening star, that's a superior conjunction. So we have inferior and superior conjunctions when Venus reverses and conjoins that sun. So in the sky, you couldn't see Venus anymore. She disappears. She turns and disappears, and then she'll be the evening star for so long, then she'll turn and disappear and pop up as the morning star, beautiful in all her glory. And then she'll stand there for so long and turn around and pop up as the evening star in all her glory. So it's pretty cool. When you map out the points of Venus, the track that she takes around the wheel, it becomes a flower. But whenever you map out her superior and inferior conjunctions, you get a star. She creates a star in the sky where she conjuncts the sun. So that to me is amazing. Esoterically and mythologically, and thinking bigger outside of the book, more spiritually, that means a lot. But as far as just everyday normal plebe knowledge, that is pretty amazing, don't you think? It tracks into a star. If you take the inferior conjunction, and then the next inferior conjunction, you connect it with a line, and you do that for 8 inferior conjunctions, you will get a star, no matter which one, if you do it in order, no matter where. And it's the same way if you do it with the superior conjunctions. And it's like this star that's just being played out in the sky. I don't know. I think it's very interesting and very neat, and I am going to do a
Okay,
video.
so they say that if you take any 8 consecutive years of inferior or superior conjunctions of Venus to the Sun and you chart it out on the astrology chart wheel, that it will make a star. You got to connect the points as you go. So I chose 8 dates from the future dates that are coming up, and we are going to chart them out and see what happens when you connect the dots one at a time. So the dates that I chose for the inferior conjunctions are January 8th, 2022, August 13th, 2023, March 22nd, 2025, October 23rd, 2026, January 1st, 2028, and we finish January 6th, 2030. So let's map out the inferior conjunctions. So it starts January 8th at 18 Capricorn. So these lines, this is 10 and that's 20. So 18 is going to be right before 20, right there. And then we're going to connect that to August 13th, 20 Leo. So that's easy, 20 Leo right here. Connect the dots. There we go, our first line. And then we are going to connect to March 22 degrees Aries. So Aries will be 1, 2 right here. We connect that to Leo. Here we go. Second line. Next, 0 degrees Scorpio. So 0 is right here on that line. So 0 degrees Scorpio is right there. So there we go. Got our third line. Fourth. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 lines. Okay. And then we go to 11 degrees Gemini. So this is 10. Right here will be 11. We connect that to Scorpio. And we come all the way back around to 16 degrees Capricorn. We started at 18 Cap, so it's going to be a little bit off. There we go. And there's the inferior conjunctions. So now let's map out the next 8 superior conjunctions and see what they look like with the inferiors. So the dates that I've chose is October 22nd, 2022, June 4th, 2024, January 6th, 2026, August 11th, 2027, March 23rd, 2029, and October 20th, 2030. So let's see what Venus is going to do with the Sun in her superior conjunctions. We start at 28 Libra. So that's right here. It's right before the 0 Scorpio. And then we move to 13 Gemini. So we were at 11, so 12, 13 right there. We connect Gemini to Libra. And we go to 14 Capricorn. So 14, because we were at 16, 14, 15, 16 right there. And 19 Leo. We were at 20, so 19 is going to be right by all the way to the Capricorn. And Leo goes to 2 degrees Aries. And 2 is right on the dot. We were on 2 right there. And then we go to 26 Libra. We finish off at 26 Libra. And isn't that where we started? No, we started at 28. So a little bit below where we started. Right here. There we go. There's the superior conjunctions. You can see and as you can see, it's almost the exact same star in the sky. And as you connect it, it creates a pentagram. It creates a pentagram here in the middle, and then the star, which is so beautiful. It's just where Venus ends up, it's always about 2 degrees off, so you always have like a little opening in the star points there. And I don't know if that's just where you start, you'll end up there. You'll end up right next to where you started. So there you have it. That's what happens whenever you map out the superior or inferior conjunctions of Venus with the Sun on the astrology wheel.
So there's all my Venus knowledge that I have for you today. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a good day.